Hi friends, thank you for tuning in to the Concussion Coach Podcast. I'm Bethany Lewis, the Concussion Coach. I'm a neurological occupational therapist and certified life coach, and I specialize in guiding people through their concussion recovery journey. I am passionate about helping people understand their injury, speed up their recovery, and reclaim control over their life post-concussion. The purpose of this podcast is to help increase awareness of concussions and the impact they can have on a person's life, and to bring hope to people who have suffered a concussion and those who love them. I firmly believe that sharing stories and knowledge about concussions will bring important light and understanding to this misunderstood and often invisible injury. The information in this podcast is meant to bring that awareness and hope and is not meant as medical advice. The opinions shared are those of the interviewees and my own. If you are suffering with lingering concussion symptoms, I have created a concussion coaching program specifically for you. I will be your mentor to guide you through your recovery journey, offering help with understanding and managing your symptoms, setting achievable goals, and learning how to manage your own thoughts and nervous system in order to get control over your life again. If this program sounds like something that would help you or someone you love, sign up for a free consultation. In the consultation, you'll get valuable information and resources and gain hope for your future. Sign up for your free consultation at the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Hi friends, welcome back to the Concussion Coach Podcast. Today's episode is going to be a bit different than our usual episodes because today we are talking about a different neurological issue than brain injury. However, this disorder is one that many people suffer from, whether they realize it or not, and therefore I'm confident that people with concussions have it, and those who don't probably know someone who does. So our topic today is misophonia. Recent studies estimate that between 5 to 20% of the general adult population suffer from it, and I had never heard of it before a few months ago. So I'm excited to be talking about it today. A little bit more background from AI about what misophonia is. Misophonia literally means hatred of sound. It is a chronic neurological condition where specific everyday sounds such as chewing, breathing, pen clicking, or tapping trigger intense, involuntary emotional and physical reactions like rage, panic, or disgust. It is a difference in how the brain processes sound. And we know, again, with concussion concerns, a lot of times sound processing gets interrupted. So again, this is kind of adjacent, but not exactly the same as the typical conversations that we have here. But my guest today is my amazing first cousin once removed, Jordan Slingerland. She's my cousin's daughter and is the first person that I met who has this diagnosis. And we've worked together in a coaching capacity for a few months now, and she is an absolute delight of a human. I absolutely adore her. So I'm very grateful that she's willing to come on the podcast and share her experience with this less well-known but very significantly impactful neurological disorder. And I think that one of my kids has it. So I'm especially grateful to have had this experience working with her and a chance to pick her brain a little bit more and let you guys all hear about it. So thank you for being here, Jordan. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Jordan Slingerland. I'm from Gilbert, Arizona. I am a fresh high school graduate.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And right now I'm in flight school, and I have had misophonia since I was 12 years old. So close to quick math, 7 years now. So
okay,
I'm experienced.
Yes. Yes. Sadly, I'm sorry that you're experienced in this, but you've come a long way, and I feel like you'll have some really good insights for people as we're discussing this. So I'm so grateful that you're willing to come on here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So tell us about misophonia. I'm pretty sure that I had never heard of it before your mom mentioned to me that you have it. So yeah, can you tell us how you realized what it was and how you got diagnosed?
So misophonia is a neurological condition where certain sounds that may not be a big deal to other people, they trigger an intense emotional or physical reaction. So chewing gum, sniffling, pen clicking, stuff like that, stuff that can be kind of oh, it's annoying, or maybe even go unnoticed. To someone with misophonia, it's a big deal, and it's day ruining. So the reactions to these certain triggers can vary on the person and point in day, at least the point in day for me. So it could cause you to feel panic, anger, anxiety, but it's kind of all summed up into the flight or fight response. So you just want to either run away or fight someone.
Yes, it is so fascinating. So when did you start noticing that this was an issue for you?
When I was It started with gum chewing. That's where it started. It started with
Mm.
gum chewing when I was about 12 years old. I remember it like the first time it ever happened, it was in church and my mom was chewing gum and I didn't know what was happening. I don't know why. I just was crying and crying. I couldn't explain it. It sucked. I was like, I don't know why this is bothering me to this extent, but it is. So
Mm.
that's what started it all.
Interesting. And it was like you knew it was the gum chewing specifically, like
Oh, for
that
sure.
sound.
I knew because I was like, can you stop doing that?
Okay, and so that's so interesting. And I do remember it because again, because my I think my son had I was looking up some statistics on it, and it does sound like that's about the age, like
Mhm.
10 to I think 10 is the general average, but yeah, between like 8 and 12 or something like that is usually when it starts coming up for people. So was it, yeah, for you, how did that like play out? So you had that first experience, and then was it like, were there other things that started coming up, or was it just every time she chewed gum, it would drive you crazy? Like, how did it play out from there?
Honestly, I think if I was like, the thing is, right when that happened, it was right before COVID. So then it went into COVID. So when I had like no social interaction, like whatsoever. It was just me and my family.
Mm,
I think it would have been the same kind of like upslope of it getting worse and worse. But because I wasn't with other people and I wasn't like really exposed to new triggers and stuff like that, or just triggers in general, it kind of, I felt like went away.
mm,
And then as soon as I jumped back into school, that is when I full forced knew I had an issue because it was like school, which I hadn't been in for like a year, and that's where like most of my issues came from.
mm. Okay. So once you started back at school, it was like, and was it always gum chewing, or were there other triggers that you discovered?
Definitely gum chewing has always been the biggest since the beginning, but sniffling has been a big one, which sucks during the, winter months.
Hmm.
And back then, what was it? Just food in general, sniffling, and keyboard typing. Keyboard typing
Interesting.
was a big thing, which also sucks because you're in school, which is where it
Yes.
happens.
Yes, and everything is on computers these days. So
Hmm.
yeah, I could see that being problematic. So what grade were you in then? You're
Seventh grade. It was the end of seventh grade.
okay. And was it just like, were you confused by it? Was this just like what's happening, or were you just too angry to even be confused? How was that experience for you?
Definitely super confused because it's not it's not a choice that you're feeling that way. It's like it's just your body is having that initial reaction. It's involuntary. It's just like it's out of instinct, I'd say. So it's like, why can't I stop this emotion? Like I know this is happening and I know people don't usually feel this way with this, but why is my body reacting like this?
Hmm. Yeah, that would be very distressing, I imagine,
Yeah.
for you and the people around you. Did you just keep it all inside? Would you respond? Would you react? Like how did it play out in in those social situations?
Definitely in school, I just kept it to myself. I just kind of sucked it up and minded my business. But like at home, I'd probably let it out a little bit more. Like especially in the early stages when I didn't know how to express how I was feeling, be like, "Stop chewing so loud. Stop doing
Mm-hmm.
that."
Yes.
Probably more outbursts and fights
Yeah,
because
I
of
could
it.
see that. That makes sense, especially like I think that is related to other things that kids who are dealing with stuff and they hold it all in at school and then they come home and it all comes out at home
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's the safe place for it to come out. You're not going to
Yeah.
be rejected, but it just
I
makes it
can act a
more
fool out
appropriate.
here.
Yeah, exactly. And I was curious as you were describing it, do you feel like can you chew gum? Can you sniffle? Like, is it a problem when you have it yourself?
Honestly, no. For me, I know for some people it is an issue, which I guess on a different note, one of the specialists I went to, sometimes misophonia can be linked to eating disorders because
Oh,
you can't even
interesting.
hear yourself chew, and I can't even imagine how hard that would be. But for me, it's never been an issue.
Okay. Well, that is kind of blowing my mind. I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't thought of that. That's super interesting. Oh, and yeah, that would be very challenging.
Yeah.
So you did see a specialist. So tell me, like, how did it come out? Like you were suffering with this. You were yelling at people at home, at least about not chewing. When did you guys decide, okay, we need to see somebody about this? And how did it get diagnosed?
I'd say it kind of starts more as a me thing. Like I just kind of would look it up online, be like, why do I feel this way? Because
Mm,
like before I was able to like properly express to my parents, like this is really not a normal feeling. Like I'm sure they probably just thought I was like sensitive or something. And like, some things can be bothersome. Like people chewing with their mouths open is annoying.
mhm,
But like I knew because I was the one feeling it, it was like a much deeper level than that. And so I kind of did my own stuff, like my own little research. I was like, why do I feel this way? And so, like, being able to look that up on my own and like read about other people and their personal experiences kind of gave me the validation of like, okay, this is a real thing. And
mm,
that's when I went and we went to different audiologists and specialists. But because misophonia is like not officially recognized as a disorder or anything, it's really it's like not really a diagnosis. People can just be like, yeah, it looks like you have this, but because it's not official or anything. But like
mm.
it's just kind of based off of symptoms and stuff like that. Like, and if it, then you have it, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And that is interesting too, because I remember when we were first working together, I was doing some research. I listened to some podcasts and looked it up, and I don't remember the details of what I learned, but it's a relatively new diagnosis, but it's not officially recognized what in the DSM-5 or whatever we're at now. Is
Mm-hmm.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. But it is like, yeah, it's relatively recent that it's been recognized as a thing. I guess
Yes.
it's
Yes.
still
Yeah.
okay. And who is there a certain, do you know, is there a certain type of professional that has to do the diagnosis to make it official?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I've been to like it's hard because like thinking about the audiologist experiences I've had, it's kind of more of like their expertise is in hearing like related
Mm,
issues, but the ones I've been to, they're like, it sounds like you have this, but we are not the ones to help you. And so
mm,
like there's really no like the specialists I've seen are just kind of there to talk about it, but not really diagnose you for it, if that makes sense.
yeah. And did they give you any advice as to where, like, what kinds of things might be helpful?
Yeah, I'd say a lot of it is like nervous system regulation because there's no like actual treatment. It's just kind of like how it's just different coping mechanisms, like
Hmm.
how to like decompress after like a hard day out, how to like handle yourself in these situations that you can't get out of, and like how to just kind of like set yourself up for success and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I know we got to do a lot of
Hmm.
discussion about that. That was
Yeah.
really fun, really good conversations. And again, everybody who's listening just needs to know that Jordan is awesome. And every time we talked, I walked away being like, "This girl's amazing!" Like she just was she got it. She like would apply things and share how they like, I don't know, she's just very insightful and really good at like understanding what we were talking about and then how to apply it to her and seeing good results from it. So it was
Thank
very,
you.
very cool. So I'm excited for you to share some of that experience and knowledge. But before we get into that part of it, what can you explain? And you did a little bit, if there's any more you want to share with us about what it feels like for you. Like if you are in a room and you have somebody that's chewing gum across the table, what do you experience in your body?
So I feel like is definitely like a scale throughout the day.
Mm,
It's kind of just like how much I can take. It kind of depends on how much on my reaction. So like at the beginning of the day, like when I think back to when I was like in school, like my regular usual day in the past year, it'd be wake up in the morning and you'd have school and I'd be exposed to so many triggers there. And I think because like number one, I'm just waking up, I'm tired. I don't really have the capacity to be angry, so I just kind of I'd say I'm more inwards, more sad, just kind of like, oh, well, this sucks. This is gonna ruin the rest of my day. So I'm just like sad, just kind of sulk into myself. And then I'd go to work and I'd be more awake by then. And then I'd be like so fed up with everything I already experienced at school. And all I'd feel would be rage, like just
mm,
rage at work. It'd be so awful. It's just like the most intense feeling like versions of emotions like you can experience ever,
mm,
and it's just constant and it's all day and it's just so disheartening. Kind of, it's just kind of like, why can't I have a good day? Because it's
mm,
just like it sucks because it's not based on anything you can control. It's all about other people. It's like other people are determining my range of emotions for the day, which kind of was a bummer, but
Yes, yes, that would be extremely frustrating. And that, yeah, because you can't control whether other people are doing stuff. And how much did you end up talking to people about it? Like how, and I know we will probably talk about this a little bit more
yeah.
later as well, but like, well, let's just, before we go into that, but maybe like, how would you explain it to somebody if you decide that you are gonna tell somebody about it, how do you explain it to somebody who's never heard of it before, and how do you help them understand that it's an actual condition? Do you have,
Um,
like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I know we've talked about this more recently, which is something I've started to implement, is like naming it for what it is. And I have found that like using the term misophonia, like an actual, like using the condition name, I
Mhm.
feel like kind of helps people understand it's a real thing. Because something I used to do is be like, I have this like hearing issue, which is kind of more broad, more vague, doesn't sound as like serious and like
Legit.
scientific. Yeah,
Yeah,
legit.
yes.
I feel like saying the name, it's harder for people to like kind of argue or even just put it aside on what you're trying to say because it has a name and it sounds very serious.
Yes.
Like you may not like, and then also using like, honestly, it's such a hard thing to kind of explain. So something I've also found is right there in front of them, looking it up and be like, these are some of the like emotions I feel. This is what it, I feel like having that resource, even just looking up like the general definition and the little AI summary it will give you,
Mhm,
even
mhm.
that is good because it shows them it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at it on this computer. It's a thing.
This is real. Yes. Yes. Okay. I think that's probably good advice for people to like if they're wondering the same thing, like that is helpful. Because yeah, it again, if people haven't heard of it, they're not aware of it. But then it's so funny because I'll like tell people about it or like mention it, and they will maybe not have heard of that term before, but then when I explain it, they're like, "Oh, I know this person definitely has it."
Mm-hmm.
I can
Mm-hmm.
usually point to somebody that they know who like really has a hard time. And I think it is important to like point out that it is a much more extreme. It's not just, "Oh, that sound bothers me," or like, "I hate it
Mm-hmm.
when people chew with their mouth open." It is like an actual physiological and like emotional response to it that's
Yeah.
very extreme, an extreme
Yep.
response.
Yep.
Yes, the way it plays out in my house lately is just within the last few months. So it's kind of funny that, and funny, not funny, that we've been talking about this. We've been working together on it, and now my little one is dealing with it. He's 10, and yeah, it's like he will just explode at his it's usually, and I think this is common. It is typically aimed at a specific person. It can be
Mm-hmm.
it's more problematic sometimes from one person
Yeah.
versus a stranger or other people, and it's usually someone that they know well and is like close to them.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a friend who I mentioned doing this interview with you about, and she was like, "Oh, I have that." And mine is aimed at my husband and like his breathing. I'm like, "You can't tell him not to breathe. I'm sorry."
Right.
She's like, "I know." So it's like, anyway, it's just it can be a very significant thing to work through and challenging. But yeah, my little guy will just like explode at his brother, and it's hard, especially as a parent, to
It's
be like,
hard.
you don't want to let that kind of behavior happen, but you also, if you're recognizing and understanding this is a real thing, then we need to be supportive and like figuring out how to deal with it rather than just like sit down and shut up and stop yelling at your brother,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's hard. So, okay. And again, I'm like, I want to just dive into all of these specific questions for you, and we will get there, but I'm holding myself back to
No,
ask
you're
you
good.
these more generalized questions. Like how, maybe, I'm going to ask this one later. So tell me how it has impacted your life in terms of relationships. Like who are the people that at the brunt of your rage?
Definitely my family. My family feels it the most. It's definitely made like family outings, family vacations, family dinners much more prone to issues and just kind of non-existent, honestly. Like I probably have not eaten dinner with my family for like 5 years. Like I
That's so
sit on the
sad.
floor
That like
of the
breaks my
laundry
heart.
room. I eat by myself every night, every meal.
Okay.
But that's what I would much rather prefer. It's either I sit at the table with them and I cry my heart out and just rage, or I sit by myself. And that's the thing that kind of sucks about misophonia. It's just kind of, it's lonely and you kind of
Mhm.
isolate yourself, which is just, but the thing is, you'd rather be by yourself than with other people, if that makes sense, which
Mm.
kind of sucks. But and then I don't know, I guess because they feel the brunt of things, more prone, I'd say more prone to fighting, more like on family vacations, there's always an issue. Someone's got too loud of shoes. I hate flip-flops. I can't do them. Someone's wearing flip-flops up. You can't wear those shoes. It's just kind of
Right.
I'm like things have to be a little bit more nitpicky.
Mm.
And I feel like sometimes a little bit more catered. Like misophonia has to be taken into account in anything we do as a family. Like we're going to a restaurant, Jordan's gonna have to sit at a separate table. Do
Mm.
you have your headphones? Because we're going in the car together. It's just kind of
Mm.
it adds another layer of planning, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, as you're talking about that, I'm like, oh, that is so hard. But also, there are a lot of conditions out there where people deal with stuff that, not this specifically, but it takes more planning. It takes, and I
Mm-hmm.
think, our friends who are listening who have concussions, this is something they're like, it is a thing. If as the person who is suffering with it and dealing with it, things need to be, catered to some degree, or at least like taken into account. Like, how are we going to set things up for success for you and for all of us so that we can and I think it's you still want to do it. I think it's a good thing. People are still wanting to get together. They want to do this, and
Mm-hmm.
how can we make it so that it's enjoyable as much as possible for
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
involved. So I think that's important. That's yeah. And maybe we can share as we're going through these like different like ways that it's impacted your life, how what things have been helpful along the way, like
Okay.
in relation to the family dinners and the outings and stuff. What
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned your headphones, like what else, what helps for this for you?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that my biggest supporter through misophonia has been my AirPods. I they come with me everywhere. They're always in my pocket. I'd never leave the house without them because just pop them in, tune everything else out. That just I don't have to hear them. They don't have to hear me yelling at them, so it makes everything better. And then also just kind of like an understanding from my family, like, yeah, I know it sucks, but it's just something we all have to deal with, and I promise you it sucks a lot more for me than it does for you guys. But just having that, like my family having that understanding that I can't function properly with them, if that makes sense. Like my AirPods will have to be in while we're at dinner, so I probably can't talk to you. Or just having that understanding kind of neutralizes it, I'd say, because then at that point, I'm not bothered, they're not bothered, all is well.
Mhm. So are you able to like adjust things, or like, we're not having the conversation at the dinner table like maybe we would like to, but can we still like make sure that we're having these conversations in other
Mm-hmm.
settings? Like
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
you work that out?
Definitely alternative things like we do family meetings on Sundays where things that maybe would be discussed at a family dinner
Mm,
is now like, what's going on through your week? Like, what are you doing now? Like, because not all family activities that we do have to be involving food.
mhm,
So, like, going on a walk, and that's how we spend our night together. That's how we have our family time that night. Or having some, like, everyone playing out in the pool for maybe 30 minutes today. That's what our
mhm.
plan is later today. We're gonna all sit by the pool. No food.
Nice.
That means we're good for everyone.
Yes. Okay. And that's, I think, so interesting that you're bringing all this up. I love that intentionality piece is a part of this. Like the way yeah, you got to do some, there's probably, physiological and intentional mental, emotional work that you can do, but also as a family, figuring out what accommodations are possible, what can we do, and how can we be intentional about still getting the bonding and the experiences that we need in a way that works for everybody. I think
Hmm.
that's just a really good example and really important. And how we have another relative who has really intense celiac disease that I was talking to her about. I was like, man, like, and so she can't have like food is a very big concern for her as far as like even just being around other stuff can be problematic. And so like roommate, like her living situation with roommates and like having a shared pantry space, like any kind of exposure to wheat can be very problematic for her. It just, as I was talking to her and now as I'm thinking about this in relation to you, it's a very, food is a big part of people's social
Mm-hmm.
experience. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, having a concern with food in whatever way it happens can be isolating and challenging. So I appreciate that you're bringing that out and definitely welcome any suggestions or advice that you have for people who are dealing with stuff like that. And I think you brought up a few good things. What else have you found to be helpful in relation to all of this? Any other tips for like ways to manage it and like still work around getting what you need without it being around food or something? I don't know.
I'd say like another way for even just like managing it is like kind of knowing your limits and not like overexerting what you can give out.
Mm,
So like if that means you can like if you can because like I said, like over the course of a day, like your tolerance for it goes down and your reactions go up. So like before you're just like absolutely at the tip top of your emotional level, like finding a good like okay, yeah, this was uncomfortable, but I could do it and now I'm done. Like knowing when to stop kind of. And
yes.
that may mean like limiting what you do, but like it keeps you in a better headspace because it's like it can be really mentally draining if every single day you're all the way up here at the end of
Mhm.
every single day you're just boom 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 feeling like the most intense emotions like ever. So like finding somewhere where you can like still have social interactions but also keep your peace, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's so well said and actually speaks perfectly to my concussion people. Like this is something that we talk about all the time is like getting rest. And I think exactly what we're talking about. Like if you can, what your limits are, what your capacity is, and if you can rest ahead of time, if you can give yourself enough space to like let the system calm down, then you can expand your capacity for other things. So like if you're going to be going to a meal and you want to know you want to make it as long as you can, then
Mm-hmm.
maybe taking some time apart and just like, doing whatever calming activity can help ahead of time and then going and like being in tune to yourself and knowing when that limit is getting there reached, then
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
giving yourself the mental and emotional space to choose to move on and like take a break. I just think that's such good advice across the board for so many things, and it really does apply to the concussion population. But I think it's very good advice for people who are dealing with this specific, like recognizing, yeah, what your limits are and knowing that you have a limited amount of capacity and spending it wisely,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and
Mm-hmm.
intentionally. Because otherwise, exactly
Yeah.
what you said, it
Yeah.
just like gets spent all the way and then you're suffering at the end. But if you're aware of what's going on and able to be on purpose about it, then that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a very good point. Thank you. Have there been other relationships that have been challenging because of this? Like, do you have, or just friends or school? Like, how else has it impacted relationships?
I'd also say it definitely has issues with friendships. I find it sometimes kind of hard to like socially, not like, yeah, I'd say socially interact, like, and make new friends. Because I feel like, like an issue I had in school was there was this girl who, she was super nice, loved her. I like, for the first couple of like weeks of school, she never chewed gum, and I got really close with her, and I was like, I love this girl, she's so nice. And then all of a sudden she started chewing gum almost every single day, and I could not even look her in the eyes anymore. Like that friendship ended right then and there on that day. I could not,
Mm,
I just like, first period of the day, I literally cannot deal with this. I'm gonna face this way and not even turn around. And so like even like if someone came up and wanted to be friends but they're chewing gum, I'm gonna try and get away from that person and that interaction so fast. And
mm,
so it is hard to open up to someone and then they start doing something that I can't be around, and I'm not close enough with them yet to feel comfortable enough sharing that
mm.
I struggle with misophonia. So then it dies.
Ah,
But
that's such a
yeah.
like, thank you for sharing that because I think people, it's just another really good evidence that we never know what other people are dealing with. And so behavior that might be confusing, like I'm just thinking of her perspective, like here, I made this new friend. I think she's so
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And now she won't talk to me. She won't even look at me. Like, what did I do? Like I could see that being so
Yeah.
confusing and distressing, for her, but she clearly didn't even know what you were dealing with. Like we never know what other people are dealing
Mm-hmm.
with. So give people the benefit of the doubt and give people a break. But that is interesting. Like, is there, yeah, that's hard. Do you feel like that it would have been helpful to have had that conversation with her, or do you just didn't feel like you knew her well enough to?
That was the hard thing. Like I didn't know her well enough to where I had like her number or like somewhere I could talk to her privately. Like, cause I sat at like a group table and I wasn't about to announce it to everyone.
Mm,
So I think that was what I found it hard. Like if I had like maybe gotten her phone number even in a more casual way, like, oh, like let's hang out outside of school or something like that, and then I texted her,
hmm
I think it would have been better because I know she probably would have stopped chewing gum. I couldn't get to the point to where I felt comfortable enough to ask her.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's, yep. Again, as we're talking, I'm just like all of these things do I feel like relate to my people who have concussions because it's similar kind of thing. Like there are things that are very hard for them to deal with, and they don't know at what point, like how close do you have to be able to share with somebody what you're dealing
Mm,
with and have that, that does, open up a new layer of the relationship that people may or may not be ready for.
yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard. So thank you for sharing all of this. Any other like social experiences, school things that you want people to be aware of, like how it's impacted your life?
I would say it's kind of like it's sad, but like it kind of sucks the joy out of like everything. Like school, like I look back and like I'm sure it was great. Like there was some like I know I had some like really good days. I made some really good friends, but like all I can remember and like my overall feeling towards school like every single day was just like absolute dread and disgust and just like horrible like it just was such a horrible place that I hated going to
Mm,
because I was just trapped with these triggers and it kind of it so like I'd have the worst day at school. I'd go have a horrible day at like work and then I wouldn't want to do anything else. Like it kind of makes you not want to do anything because at that point you're like, well, I already had a bummer day at school. I had a bummer day at work. I'm not about to go out to a restaurant and listen to a bunch of people eat.
mm,
Or even just like being afraid of what's like kind of like the unknown. Like trying new experience is something like I love to do. Like I like to try new things. But then with that comes, well, and what am I going to be exposed to? Like even just like normal social things like I can't do movies. I can't go to the movies anymore. That's like a big thing that my friends like to do. I love movies. I love watching movies. Can't do it. I can't go to the movie theaters. Popcorn, candy. I can't listen to it. And even that means even movie nights at home. Like when, my family wants to watch a movie, no popcorn, no snacks, no nothing. Or else I
mm,
won't be or else I won't be there. It just
uh,
kind of because food is a big part of like connection. Like people connect over food and like food can be enjoyed in lots of situations. And as soon as food is introduced to those situations, I like can no longer participate and I no longer can be there.
Are there kinds of food that are okay that it's like, like, okay, we can do this if we're doing this
I
activity?
mean, like soft, chewy, like soft foods, like breads, cakes, and stuff like that. But like, I can't really think of a situation where they just kind of be there. But but like even more broad, it doesn't even have to be food, but like gum. Like anywhere someone's gonna be chewing gum and wherever they are, I don't want to be. So if we're like mini golfing, someone's chewing gum, oh, count me out. And the thing is it sucks because I'll usually probably already be in that situation. I'll be like, and then that entire day is ruined because I'm
Mm,
like, why did I even come? How like I knew this was gonna happen. Why did I put myself in this position? What am I doing here? Like this isn't even fun. Like, and I cannot wait to get out of there. Like
mm,
I went to watch my cousin in the Nutcracker. She does ballet. Someone behind me was chewing gum. I literally had both AirPods in. I love classical music. I love the ballet. I love the theater. But I
mhm.
literally was listening to some other music, looking at the stage, just crying. I was like, this sucks. I want to leave. And so it just kind of sucks the joy out of
Mm.
just normal social things, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I think well, hopefully it'll be helpful for people just to understand that, especially if, parents who have kids who are dealing with this, that they just open the understanding and seeing how
Hmm.
it can impact like all of the experiences. But I feel like I think we talked recently that you had gone to the movies and it was like you were able to do it and it was a good experience. Tell me about
Yes.
that. What was different about that?
So something I found recently, some movie theaters, I think the ones we went to were the AMC theaters. They have these devices. Now they're not the best. They're they're kind of old and janky. But something that I found super helpful and allowed me to go to the movies was they offer headphones for people I think probably with hearing impairments or like hard of hearing. So you just got this little funky device and you get your headphones and it syncs to the
Mhm.
screen. They kind of suck, but they were movies like it was for the Lord of the Rings trilogy rerun, and so I wanted to go so bad. So I dealt with those super janky headphones, and it was fine because you hear like the theater, but then also having it like the headphones covering your ears and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then also, I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but I would reserve the handicap spots
Oh,
like down in the front row
mhm.
because no one's in front of you. People aren't really behind you, like they're a row up. So I can't hear
Mhm.
sounds from behind. I can't see people in front of me. And
Mhm.
I'm able to just kind of look at the
Get
screen and
lost in
nothing
the
else.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sweet. I love it. Those are, I think this is helpful. These kind of like accommodation type things that you found to be helpful. So thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
Because yeah, it is, again, like you said, it impacts everything. It's so pervasive. But if there are ways that allow you to access and enjoy life in
Hmm.
situations, that's
Yeah.
so important. So I appreciate that. What I'm trying to think of. How about, are there other accommodations or things that, you found at school or at work that you could ask for that you felt like were appropriate, or that other, parents listening to this, if their kid is dealing with it, what would you recommend they think about asking for accommodations wise in
Yeah.
a public setting like school or work or something?
Definitely for school, I'd recommend getting a 504 plan, 504 or like whatever accommodation plan your school provides. Because you can, I know lots of school I know here in Arizona, no phones, no earbuds. On your 504 plan, you can be like, I'm allowed to wear my headphones. I'm allowed to have my phone on me. Because if you are able to like let them know how much this issue is like impacting your schooling, then they will be like, yeah, okay, we'll give this to you.
Yeah.
You can ask for preferential seating. So like if you have like a certain issue, like a certain person giving you an issue, you can be like, hey, just can you move me over here? You can ask for testing room options. You can go to a
Mhm.
whole separate quiet room to take tests. Like I did that for my ACTs. You can do it for like lots of tests. I think AP testing, you're allowed to do that as well. Like you gotta advocate for yourself. That's really what you gotta do. And the nice thing with those 504 plans, no one like their law, like the teachers will sign it. It's a contract. So I had like an issue with the teacher who would ask me to constantly take out my AirPods and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I have a 504 plan for a reason." And then it never gave me an issue again. But I'd
Mhm.
say that's probably the most solid thing you could do for school, at least.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Do you have, and I know you're going to be, well, hold on. You're going to be going to college soon.
Hmm.
So, which I'm guessing, you were talking about feeling like you were trapped in this like place where you couldn't go anywhere, do anything and with all these triggers. And I think in, elementary and secondary school, that's probably more the case. Like even with this
Hmm.
504 plan, having the 504 plan is probably super helpful. It does allow you to get a little bit more freedom, but as a college student, you're going to have more capacity. Like you could get up and leave
Yeah.
the room if you
Yeah,
wanted to. Like
exactly. Yeah.
it's not going to be so controlled of a
Yeah.
situation. So I imagine that would be, yeah, hopefully. Do you have any thoughts about like plans for how you're going to handle college or any fears around that? Like what are your thoughts as you're
I'm definitely gonna see if they have any accommodations available, and even just like personally reaching out to the teachers and being like, "Hey, this is what I have. If you see me like up and leave, don't take it personally. It just means I'm like I cannot be in your class right now."
Mhm.
And then something I'm also gonna try. because I'm moving out to Georgia for school. I'm gonna try and start fresh and kind of in my introduction to this new state and to these new people, I'm gonna try and just have misophonia be right next to my name. Be like, hey, my name's Jordan. I just want to let you know I have this issue. I don't want you to take it personally. Like I want that to be like associated with my person, so that way people can like maybe be more mindful around me, because it's also now like kids, teens, they can be mean. They don't really care about anything but themselves. And I'm hoping like now that people have grown up, more
Yeah.
adult, more understanding, and maybe more like sympathy
Mhm.
to and just to see if that plays out any better for me in
Yeah.
college than it did here.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a good idea just to like, again, let people know. A little bit of understanding goes a long way in
Yes,
helping
yes.
people access that empathy and that sympathy and just being more willing, just understanding helps. So
And that
I,
way if they do see me do something, they can know it's not personal. It's not
yeah.
like, because like sometimes just out of reaction, like if I hear someone chewing gum, I will look at them and give them the nastiest look. And I'm like, I'm not mean. You're just being kind of gross.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I think this is so helpful to put out there. I love that I'm happy to hear that you're planning on approaching it this way. I think just
Yeah.
being really open and letting people know yeah, will probably be very helpful. And you mentioned preferential seating as a possibility. I want to just bring up one of the things that you and I talked about was in one of your classes, you were at a table and like, we talked about maybe like asking the teacher if you could move closer to the front of the room, again, kind of like with the
Mm-hmm.
movie theater where you can't see other people, you can't, because it's not only a sound thing, it's a vision. It's like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
vision
Yep.
piece impacts it. Like if you can see someone chewing gum, even if you can't hear it, it's a
It's
similar.
automatically same reaction.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's helpful and important for people to recognize, like, yeah, if you can visually distract, like be away from it and then yeah, closer to the board or whatever. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
kind of accommodations that teachers can help with. And again, letting them know, like helping people understand can make a really big difference.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything on the work side of things that you would like to have people be aware of?
Mm, I mean, like, I guess trying to be open and just being honest and asking for help where you can, but like, it's hard because there's not like something like a 504 plan where people have to abide by it. It's kind of just if they want to, they will, and if they don't want to, they won't. And so
Mhm.
it's a little bit more not reliable or dependable that way,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. But I know at some workplaces you can, but at mine, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you would be willing to share your experience a little bit of the like I thought it was such a maybe helpful for people to hear experience of your boss trying to explain. Your boss understood and got it, and then
Mm-hmm.
she tried to help your coworkers, but English was a second language for a lot of them, and so like maybe they just didn't understand or they like listened for a little while. I don't know. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, I can. I was having an issue with some of the, like, pretty much everyone back in the workroom I was at chewing gum. And I was having such a hard time. Like I couldn't get through a full day of work with like I was like it put me in the worst place possible. And I could not do it. And so it was either I ask my boss for help or I put in my 2 weeks. It's like one or the other. And so I chose to ask for help, and it worked for probably about a week, and then it didn't. And then I texted her. I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you like asked or like did any like if you had mentioned something to them." And she was like, "Yeah, I did. They just kind of keep saying they're forgetting." And I was like, "Okay." And so then it kind of went on, and I was like, "I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks." I literally was like in the bathroom prepping myself to go do my little speech to my boss, and I was like, I'm kind of scared. Like, I think because I had worked myself up to that point, it's like I either go talk to the ladies themselves or I go talk to my boss about putting in my 2 weeks. And I was like, talking to them makes it sounds less scary. So I go in and I'm like, hey, it's not you, it's me. Do you mind not chewing gum? And they're like, yeah, for sure, for sure. And I was like, okay, great. And and I know like when you're working, it can be like boring. And so like I know some people find like it's like distracting to chew gum. It helps pass the time. And it's even just nice to have something flavorful in your mouth. So like I made these gift bags of like Tic Tacs and mints and stuff like that, like things that I wouldn't be able to hear. And I gave them each their own little goodie bag. And then probably like a week later, they all started chewing gum again.
Dang it.
And I think that's just something that is kind of a bummer. You can explain and just tell people like as much as you'd like. You can express the best you can the like amount of emotional distress it puts on you. And some people just like they just don't care. Gum chew like they it's not like they don't care. Like maybe they don't care, but they just I don't think it's no one will understand the severity of what you feel as a person with misophonia unless they have a misophonia. Like I know no like my family, they can think they understand, but I know they don't. I like only other people that have misophonia can ever understand the way I feel towards these things. And I just like that also kind of gives me a little bit of peace of mind, like thinking it's not personal. Like they're not chewing gum just because they know it bothers me. It's just they don't understand how much it bothers me, which it's a bummer. It's a bummer that some people just don't, that gum is a little bit more important. And I don't know. It's some people just don't like to give up their gum no matter what. Like
Yeah.
I think it's because some people just don't like being told what to do. But
Well, I think this is something that we had worked through together, like talked about, and I think it's a really important thing to just bring up that how you think about it and like I don't and you get to choose how you think about it because you genuinely don't know why they're doing it, like whether they forgot or they just didn't really get it in the first place or they
yeah.
they don't want to, they're not willing to give up their gum, whatever, like we don't know. And so you get to choose whatever story you want to tell yourself about it. And so
Hmm.
choosing the story that allows you to feel the most peace is probably the best option. And so,
Yeah.
and because when you're in that rage, when you're in that fight or flight, you can't have access to your higher thinking brain and be reasonable and logical about it. It's just like in the moment, I know that your brain is like, they hate me, they don't care about me, they don't care that this is hurting me so badly, right? And but if
Hmm.
you can like work towards like recognizing it and like taking care of yourself as far as the nervous system piece, like calming that down, getting some space, whatever you need to do, and then choosing intentionally how you think about it, you can give yourself a lot more peace and not dwell on that story that they just hate me, they don't even care about
Hmm.
me or whatever, and choose to believe like they must really not get it because if they did, I know they wouldn't
Yeah.
do this to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
I think that's just an important point to bring out, that giving yourself a break and recognizing like in that moment, of course, I'm thinking that they all hate me and like all of the negative thoughts that are coming up because I'm not thinking clearly. My emotions and my nervous system are so like heightened.
Yeah.
And then when you're able to calm down and choose how you want to think, then being intentional about that makes a difference.
Hmm.
Has that am
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That was
saying that
perfectly said.
accurately? Okay.
Perfectly said.
Because, and I do think, let's talk for a second about the ways the things that you can do in the moment that you found to be helpful to help calm the system down.
Hmm.
Because, like, yeah, as we were working together at the beginning, it was felt very clear to me that this was a nervous system dysregulation issue. Like, you had this experience that your nervous system just got shot up into that super sympathetic overdrive. Like, what worked for you to help come back down?
I'd say one of like in the moment things is breathing exercises. Like no matter like sometimes it was like I'd make a game out of it to like number one kind of distract my brain from it, and then also one thing like I like to distract myself like mentally from it, and then also like audio wise I like to hear myself breathe.
Mhm.
I like that's something I can focus on instead of whatever the trigger is. So like maybe I'd go and find the rainbow. Like I go through the room and find something that's a rainbow. That's getting
Like
my eyes
something
away
that's
from
red,
whatever it
something
is.
that's orange,
Yep,
something
and
that's
then
yellow.
I'd breathe out each letter of the rainbow.
Mm.
Like in for R, out for E, in for D.
Love it.
And it's like just making games out of it, like trying to like make myself, because not only am I like, you know, I'm freaking out, but I also like my mood's going down.
Mhm.
So trying to do things to distract myself and keep myself happy or like just positive. So breathing has been my one of my favorites. And like going out, taking walks, and like even just sitting in the bathroom and just decompressing there, just taking breaks when needed, not going above and beyond to where like it's just the point of no return.
Yes.
Also, always having my AirPods on me, put it on, blasting like really upbeat music that I like,
Mm,
distracts me from the sound, and it's also keeping my mood up.
love it.
And then also, I think something that's also helped is kind of coming home, like after all said and done, and just reflecting on what happened throughout my day,
Mm,
not just the good and not just the bad, kind of going over everything, and that kind of ends the day less of like just being in the moment, and then it's done. It's like being in the moment, reflecting, done.
mm. And what does the reflecting do for you? I love it, but tell me
Yeah,
why. Why do you like it?
it's kind of because once you get in the headspace, because misophonia, it literally takes over every minute, every waking second. So being able to step away and recognize, like, hey, think of this whole fun interaction that I had that didn't even involve misophonia. And sure, after this thing did, but I'm not going to let that bad thing cancel out that good thing. It's kind of just
Mm,
like, I think that's something that I struggled with throughout junior high and my freshman, sophomore year of high school. Cause like I genuinely cannot think of anything positive from those years. Cause I just like everything canceled out. Like there was some good things, but there was also some really bad things and just gone. But
mm,
junior year is definitely when I started to kind of notice that, like, I think it's also when I kind of fully understood and took a grasp of what it was, how it was impacting my life. And I think recognizing those things, I didn't let it consume everything. It
mm,
became its own separate category in my life. And I was
mm.
able to separate the misophonia from what I did from day to day, if
I
that makes sense.
Yes, no, that is so helpful. Thank you for saying that. I think that is such important advice and just like words of wisdom there that and really for everybody and anybody, like we people are always talk about how important gratitude is and having a gratitude journal or like intentionally choosing to see the good that happened. And yeah, even if there were hard things and bad things, like we it's important to not just be like, oh, that didn't happen, pretend it's not there. Like we recognize that, but intentionally pulling out and like, oh no, this was a really good thing and I am grateful for that. And then yeah, because the bad can feel so weighty, so
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming, but if we're like, no, this is actually also really important and good that happened, and we can see and recognize that it really does help with our mental health and
Mm-hmm.
everything else, and
Yeah.
probably allows you, the more you intentionally choose to see that, the more quickly you'll be able to see. You get attuned to it and you'll notice those
Yeah.
things and everything will feel lighter and better. So I think that's such an important piece of advice, but also helpful insight to how it has played out for you. So thank you for sharing that. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe again, as parents and loved ones or people seeing this play out for someone that they love, like just to understand like, oh, it's just such a part of everything, but if they can, yeah, like just to
Mm-hmm.
understand how it's impacting people, I think is important. And I like too that you mentioned that it's not who you are. Like
Yeah.
you're separating it out as like, okay, this is a thing that I am dealing with, but also I have these other experiences. I am still
Mm-hmm.
a whole complete person. So anyway, yeah, thank you. That's important and good. And I think another thing that, is coming out as we're talking about this is like that hyper focus. Like it's so easy in those situations to be so focused on that person who's doing that thing. And you like, and that's what I noticed with my son. I'm like, there are a lot of other things happening. Like,
Yeah.
like, can you just not like, don't look at him. Like, go look
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
else. It's fine. But I think that's yeah. Any thoughts on the distraction piece and the hyper focus piece?
Yeah. I think the fastest way to like get calm yourself down before you're getting up there to like to keep it on the lowest like bothersome scale, I guess, is to like get away as fast as you can. Like, forget about it, put it to the side as fast as you can. Because, like, if you notice and you linger on it and you think about it more and more
Mm,
and more, maybe it's like the same level of like like maybe someone's clicking their pen once,
Mhm.
and then like 5 minutes later they kick it twice. Like it's not constant. It's not something that's like where it's like, okay, like that's understandable. Like the more you think about it, the worse it's gonna feel the next time it happens. Like,
Mhm.
or if someone's like popping their gum. This is something I have struggled with. Popping gum. It's like it may happen maybe every couple of minutes, but the more I think about it in between those things, the more anxiety that builds up. Like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And then it happens, and I'm like, oh. So like
Yes.
trying to get your mind off of it, even like even when it happens, like feeling that like momentary like, oh, that's ugh. But then like taking your mind off of that as fast as you can help like minimize the way you feel about it, and like
Mhm.
and then it also can help maybe even just like get your mind off of it entirely and get you to focus. Because I find something like when I'm like super locked in on my work, it doesn't matter. Someone could be, obviously, if someone was chewing gum right next to me, I'd know. But like if I've got my AirPods in and I'm working and I maybe hear like a pop out in the distance, I don't care. I'm working.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I like the more you distract yourself with other things, I think it's easier to not hyper fixate on whatever
Mhm.
trigger it is.
Yes. Yes. So good. Thank you. And that is yes. And I've noticed that again with my kiddo, if he is distracted, there's like other people or other things going on, then yeah,
Mhm.
it doesn't bother him. But if
Because
there's
there probably
no,
is tons of other stuff going on that you could
yes.
focus on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, I think that's one of those awareness and intentionality things. Like
Hmm.
I'm aware that this is a concern, and like just again knowing that you have that tendency to do the hyper focusing and choosing to try to do something else before you're so far in it that you're
Hmm.
losing again that access to the higher thinking brain, then
Yeah.
it's important. So it's a process, and I'm sure there's going to be ups and downs with all of it, but knowing it and then trying to put it into practice is going to be
Hmm.
the way out, the way to take control over your life again.
Yeah.
So that's so good. Okay, you mentioned that nobody else really understands it except other people who've had it. And I know that you went to a Misophonia conference where you actually like talked to people. So tell us about that. How was it like to see other people who had the same thing? Like, yeah, I'd love to hear your experience with the conference and what that was like.
It was the most like validating experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like I'm so happy I went. And I also am so happy my dad went with me because I feel like up until that point, like because I was eating my lunch and my dad had said something and I was like, wow, like things might actually kind of change. Cause like my family had like, understood that it bothers me, like I am gonna flip out, right? But I think at this point, at this conference is the point to where my dad realized it was serious. Like it's a serious thing. And he
Mhm.
was like I can't remember what he said, but he had said something like I'm gonna like talk to mom and Lily because I can tell now like this is like a genuine like thing. Like I knew he believed me and I knew he knew it bothered me, but I think now he knows on a different level. Like it's wiring in my brain. It's not just because I'm sensitive. It's not because like I'm hypersensitive and stuff like that. It's like it's my brain. It's I cannot help it. Like
Mhm.
no matter how hard I try, no matter what I do, my brain is wired this way, and no matter what, when that sound happens, my brain's reacting this way.
Mhm.
And it was like it was awesome to also see like other adults who have had that issue, like have suffered with misophonia their like almost their entire lives, and I'm like they did it. Look at them go. And
Mhm.
it's like it was interesting to hear how it's like played out throughout different phases of their life, like through college, through marriage, through their work. And it was just I was getting people from all different kinds of backgrounds sharing everything. And it was just it everything was also catered towards people with misophonia. So like every day after like us like every day they had special lunches catered, soft food lunches catered. So it'd be like burritos or like cake or little sandwiches, like nothing crunchy, nothing nasty. I just felt so validated and so like just seen because
Mhm.
I was like, no one understands how I feel. These people understood how I feel. Everyone had their headphones on at all points. Everyone was, and I think it was not funny, but like a consequence of having a bunch of people with misophonia in the same room, everyone was triggering everyone. So you'd see like people would constantly be up and leaving, taking a break, coming back in. Like even I had like no one was chewing gum obviously, but like everyone has different triggers. And like
Mhm.
I know I was talking to other people. Some people it's like genuinely people's just like rubbing close together. So like my dad was scratching his skin, like scratching his arm, and I saw some kid just like turn around. I was like, oh shoot, dad, stop, stop. It's like you basically did not trigger anyone. You gotta like not breathe, not move, no nothing. And it's not funny, but like I just was like, wow, these people get it. These people really get it. And it
Mhm.
was I mean, I encourage anybody who has misophonia and their families as well to go because it's interesting to see all the research that's being done. And because it's so not like, obviously, more people than you think suffer with it, but people with it on the more severe end, there's research being done for not just not cures, but like treatments to help. And that's honestly gives me so much hope for the future. And like, and hopes for because I saw like little kids there and I was like, wow, you're gonna have to go through the years of what I went through. And I'm like, it's hard because I know those kids are gonna have a really, really, really hard time. And I wouldn't wish it upon, and I would not wish misophonia upon anyone. It is like the most life ruining thing ever, ever. But it was just nice seeing like these people did it, these people survived it, so like I can't, you know?
Yeah, I think that's cool that the perspective of like, oh, here and hearing other people and how they handled it. And again, like but looking at the little kids, like the fact that they're there and their families are learning about it, they're understanding it, it might not be quite the same experience because there will be more understanding and accommodation, like all of the things. Again, this is as we get more awareness, as we're attuned to it, then we can do things about it. And the fact that it is a neurological, like the way the brain is wired, we know that rewiring is possible. So like I do feel like
Yeah,
there's a lot of hope. Like as we
yeah.
understand it more, as we're doing things to help, I think there's potential and hope. And also like you've made progress. Like
Oh
you've
yeah.
learned things. You're able to handle it better. And like you said, there's so many different triggers. We can't expect the entire world to cater to all of everybody's things because otherwise nobody would do anything. Like
Right.
we couldn't do anything. And so figuring out what yours are and knowing how to handle that, like I think again, whether it's misophonia or anything else, everybody has stuff they're dealing with, and we have to like we're the ones we need to figure it out and call in our support networks. And then it's so validating and helpful to talk to other people who have had similar experiences, learn
Mm-hmm.
from them, learn from their experiences. I remember you telling me that you talked to a pilot who has
Yep.
misophonia and that was so helpful for you because that's the
Mm-hmm.
career path that you're wanting for yourself as well. So it is cool. And I love that there are gatherings like that that help people to
Yeah.
be seen and
Mm-hmm.
know that, yeah,
Yeah.
and be validated. So good. Thank you. And hopefully, again, like that's the purpose for this podcast is to help bring awareness about concussions. But I think if we can bring awareness about other neurological issues and like
Uh-huh.
let people feel seen, like just hearing what your experience has been, I'm sure will be very validating for people. So again,
Yep.
thanks for being willing to share this.
Of course.
Um, do you what and maybe you've already mentioned things, but if there's anything else that you want to make sure people recognize, like if there's someone who is just learning that they have misophonia or just realizing that it is a thing, what advice would you have for them? Resources you'd point them to or suggestions for managing symptoms, things like that.
A resource I'd point them to would be soquiet.org. They have everything. They have like a whole research page about research that's being done, what misophonia is, how to deal with it at school, at work, with families. I'm looking at the thing. They have so many resources. You can request free misophonia cards, and they're like little cards that are like, "Hi, my name is so and so. I have a condition named misophonia. This is what it is, and this is what you're doing that's triggering me. Do you mind stopping?" I think that is like one of the best resources ever. They have links to peer support groups, teens with misophonia, free misophonia tools, like so many. Like this is the one-stop shop for anything you need. I'd say for resources, I'd say your best friend is headphones. AirPods, any Bluetooth, anything you can play music in is a big one. But then there's also something called loop earplugs. They're usually for like concerts and stuff like that, but they can also be for plug in your ears, and they're cute. They're cute little things. You can get different colors. Those are good. I use those for tests like the ACTs and my AP tests. I wasn't allowed to use Bluetooth headphones, obviously. So I use my loop earplugs, or you can also use wax earplugs. Those also, like, because they mold into your ears, those block sound perfectly. I'd say another thing is to definitely find someone to talk to, because it is really isolating, because it's yourself. It's you can like the only one you can trust not to trigger you is yourself. So find someone, really make sure they understand, and just be able to talk to someone. I feel like that really, really helps. Be gentle with yourself. Like, it's not you, it's your brain. It's and find what works for you. Like, just things to help you out throughout the day, keep you positive, stuff like that.
Beautiful. Thank you. And those loop earplugs that you mentioned are something that a lot of my clients, people with concussion, are dealing with noise sensitivity, not necessarily the exact same way that you are, but it's this like sounds can be very challenging and symptom producing. And therefore
Mm-hmm.
those loop earrings or earplugs have been something that's been really helpful for a lot of
Yeah.
people that I know as well. So
Yeah.
it's cool that that's helpful for you too. Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. And what advice do you have for the family members and the friends of someone who has it?
Give lots of grace. And I guess like the biggest thing to anyone who is friends or family, don't take it personally. It's genuinely, it's not your fault. It's what you're doing. It's not who you are as a person. And someone with misophonia, like, you already feel like this is something like I feel like is one of the biggest struggles, especially like socially, is you feel so much guilt. Like, I
Mhm.
ruined this because I had an outburst because this person was doing something. Like, because you feel like you're the root cause of issues in so many things. So just understanding that it's not like something that I've realized, and I think my family's probably realized as well. It doesn't really get better, if that makes sense. It's kind of just you gotta grow around it. And it sucks. It really does. But it is just like, if you want your kid or friend or family to, like, be able to live the most positive way, is you gotta go around it. You can't just force your way through it. Be like, get over it, figure it
Mhm.
out. You gotta help them. You gotta go out of your way to help them. And so, no, it's not you. Give them lots of support, because it's emotionally and mentally draining. And just just have so much sympathy for them, because it's really hard. And my heart goes out to anyone who's out there struggling. So.
Thank you for saying that. And I do, it's good for me to hear that. And I will definitely have my husband listen to this because as parents, even knowing you and like knowing that this is a thing, when my son was starting to come up with this stuff, it's like our natural response is to be like what we were talking about before, like just stop, like get
Yeah.
over it. Like you need to like don't look at your brother if he's bothering you. But to recognize, yeah, I appreciate that perspective and that call for for love and compassion and grace and growing around it, like figuring
Mhm.
out how to do that. So I think that's helpful for me to hear just as a parent of someone who probably has it, and hopefully others hearing that. And yeah, no, I so appreciate all of this. Is there anything that
Mhm.
we didn't say that needs to be said that you want to make sure people hear?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much a good summary.
We covered it pretty well. I appreciate that and appreciate how, again, you're like, I feel like you, tell me if I'm wrong in this, but I feel like you're in a place where you understand it better. You're able to, like, what works in a lot of ways, and you are looking forward to the future. It's not
Hmm.
like there are good things and you
Yeah.
recognize that,
Yeah.
and like a much happier place in general.
Yeah. Like,
And
you'll get through it. Like, because there's definitely points in my life where I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. But like, there's things. It's usually like you will grow out of situations. You will grow into new situations, and those situations you can cater to be more helpful for yourself. Like, I'm growing out of high school, which was probably the worst experience of my life. And using those horrible experiences, I'm going to put them, because I'm the one who experienced it. I know what I need, and I'm going to put it in for college, I'm going to do my absolute best to avoid high school experiences at all costs and make college the best I can do.
Yeah, learning and growing and moving forward. It's beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much for all of this. I so appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable and open and share what has been your experience. I think it will be very helpful for people. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And do you want people to be able to reach out to you if they have questions? Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. That's totally okay.
I should have asked you that before.
Nope, you're good.
You're good. On air. So if they do want to, how can they touch
email base? You can use my email. It's just my first last name, Jordan Slingerland number 1 at gmail.com.
Okay, Jordan, and we can put that in the show notes. So
sweet.
Perfect. Thank you again. This has been enlightening and helpful for me, and I know it will be helpful for a lot of other people. Thanks, Jordan.
Of course.
I'm so glad you listened in today. I hope you have gained some helpful insights and inspiration regarding dealing with and recovering from concussions. My goal is to create more awareness and education about concussions and the fact that there is so much that can be done to improve life after someone has had one. Help me spread the message by liking, commenting, rating, and subscribing to this podcast, and share it with others who would benefit from hearing it. There are more resources available on my website. And again, if you or someone you love would benefit from concussion coaching, sign up for a free consultation using the link in the show notes or at my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com. Thank you. See you next time, and take good care of that amazing brain of yours.